and welcome to another booktube video from me, Lauren, from Lauren and the Books. I hope you're all having a lovely Friday. Itchy nose. What's up? My sister and my niece are here, and my niece is, I think she might be my biggest fan. Is she my most recent subscriber?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's my biggest fan. Today I'm going to be talking about the books that I am reading in the month of January. Now, we are on the 10th of January, so we're a third into January already, and I have been reading some books already, and but I have got some books that I do want to read in January, so I thought I'd still do a TBR. My goodness me, I've got such itchy nose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 books. Oh, plus an audiobook, so 10 books to read in the rest of January when I'm not really setting myself any targets this year. Might be a bit much, but it's a good range to pick from. So I'm going to start off with the books that I'm planning on reading for my book clubs. So for my book club at work, which is my in-person book club, I'm going to stop itching my nose soon, I promise. We are reading, what is that book called by Agatha Christie when they're on the train?
The something express.
Murder on the Orient Express. I completely forgot what it was called. Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. Now what I'm actually going to do of this, I'm going to listen to the audiobook of this. On Audible, they've got a whole host of different versions of this book, from ones that have got radio, like the full radio cast, like radio play versions, full cast versions, but the one I'm going to listen to is the one that is narrated by Dan Stevens, who is cousin Matthew from Downton Abbey, because I love him and I love his voice, so I thought it would be a very nice treat. So I'm going to listen to that. Then for my Patreon book club, we are reading The Glassblowers by Daphne du Maurier, my first Daphne du Maurier of 2020. In fact, my first Daphne du Maurier in a while. Like, I haven't read any Daphne du Maurier in a long time. Very excited to read this. This is sort of semi-autobiographical about her own life, I believe. Sorry, it says here it's an imaginative retelling of du Maurier's own family history, and it's talking about people marrying within glass, etc. and things like that. So I'm looking forward to reading that, and I will actually be doing. I'm going to start this weekend and film a sort of like initial thoughts video for my Patreons, as I do every month. So looking forward to starting that this weekend. And then my online book club that I just do with some friends over Facebook Messenger, we are reading Animals by Emma Jane Unsworth, which I am super duper excited about. It's about female friendship. I mean, I may as well just read you this bit at the back because it's so succinct and perfect. Laura and Tyler are best friends and drinking buddies, but things are set to change when Laura gets engaged to the man of Tyler's nightmares. Can their friendship survive, or will growing up mean growing apart? And this has got a film that's been made of it. I feel like the film might be out now, and it's got, I think, I don't know for definite, but I think that actress is the actress who is Robin Ellicott in the Strike series, whose name I don't know right now. It's a lovely name. It's like Charity or something like that. I don't know, it's not going to come. I couldn't even remember the name of Murder on the Orient Express. So the actual books that I'm planning on reading, and I've put this is probably my book that's featured on my TBRs most over the last few years and never been read, but I'm absolutely going to read it, and that is A God in Ruins by Kate Atkinson. So this is the sequel to, but sort of like runs alongside Life After Life, which is one of my favourite Kate Atkinson books. As I say that, I'm thinking, is that even the title? I don't know any titles of any books. Life After Life, it is. I'm listening to it at the moment, and that book tells the story of Ursula, and you hear about her life and what would have happened at various points in her life if she'd have died. So, for instance, she's born in a snowstorm and the doctor doesn't make it in time, so she dies at like a minute old. And then later on, you hear about her dying when she falls out of a window. Look at going after her doll, and there's all sort of like what ifs that happen. And this has been I read that like when I'd started BookTube, and then this came out in 2015, and I've been meaning to read it ever since, and I'm currently listening to the audiobook of Life After Life, so I thought as soon as I finish that I will get straight into this, and I've literally got no excuses of hearing this, which is the same, I believe it's the same story but told from Ursula's brother Teddy's point of view, so you will hear different parts of it. I think Teddy goes off to be a fighter pilot, so you hear about the war from his point of view, etc. So yeah, we'll definitely get to this month. This is top priority after book club books. And then I've got a book that I got for Christmas. I think this is going to be one that I sort of dip in and out of because I was a bit surprised at how academic it is, and that's Gender, Sex and Gossip in Ambridge, Women in the Archers. You all know that I love The Archers. The Archers is a radio, like an ongoing radio soap on Radio 4, and I love it. And this is all about the women in that, and the sort of like as it says on, as it says on the tin, Gender, Sex and Gossip in Ambridge. So yeah, I was a bit surprised at how academic this is. So I think this is going to be a sort of like diving in and out of it type thing, but very excited to report back on how this is. And thank you to the person who recommended this to me on Instagram. But I put it on my Christmas list and David's parents got it for me for Christmas, so very pleased. Then you will know, because I've been featuring these on my Instagram quite a lot, that I'm currently working my way through the Nikki French series of Frida Klein books. Frida Klein is a psychotherapist who's helping the police out with some cases, and there's a series of books written by Nikki French, who's a husband and wife team, who have written this character, and all of the books in the series are named like, I think the first one's called Blue Monday, then Tuesday's Gone, then we've got Waiting for Wednesday, Thursday's Children, and I think that's as far as it goes. Well, no, it does go further, but I don't know any of the other titles, but really, really into this. Really great crime writing with a whole sort of plethora of different characters. Really enjoy the main characters. Really enjoy the sort of the individual cases that they follow in the books, as well as harking back to some sort of like overriding case that's running through I imagine is running through all the books. So very much enjoying this and looking forward to reading the third and probably the fourth one of that maybe in the series. Then I've got a zine, which I've been meaning to read since I got it, and this is Doom Rolled in Glitter by Lena Norms. I'm one of Lena's Patreons. I love her YouTube channel, I love her poetry, and I bought this just because I love her so much, and very much looking forward to visiting this. These are poems written about 20 poems about her 20s, it says, and I love the title Doom Rolled in Glitter. I just think it's great. And my name's here somewhere, because all of the names of the people who are a Patreon, there I am, Lauren in the books. You won't be able to see that, but I promise I'm in there. So yeah. Then this is another Christmas present, the last Christmas present that I'm featuring here. This is Anne Frank's diary, the graphic adaptation. This is, David's mum bought this for me for Christmas. I've never read Anne Frank's diary, which is unforgivable. And I'm going to read the graphic adaptation of it, which I feel like is going to be very, very interesting. Then the last two books are two books that I sort of have fished out to maybe read before the end of the new year, and I never got round to it, so those I'm hoping to get to. If I don't get to them in January, I'll probably get to them in February, because I'm really excited about both of them. And the first one is The Fair Fight by Anna Freeman. So Anna Freeman's book, 5 Days of Fog, featured in my best books of 2019. I absolutely loved that book. And this is a book that she had written before that book. And this follows female wrestling in the, I don't actually know what time it is, like I believe like Victorian times. But it says here, the fair fight will take you from a filthy brothel to the finest houses in town, from the world of street fighters to the world of champions. Alive with the smells and the sounds of the streets, it is a raucous, intoxicating tale of courage, reinvention and fighting your way to the top. And as I loved her last book, I've got no doubt that I will love this. It's got a line here from Sarah Waters saying, hugely exciting, I loved it. I love Sarah Waters as well, so it's all going to go good. And then this is a book that I featured in my my Christmas gift guide because it was so beautiful and I had such high hopes for it. And David's mum actually bought it for me for Christmas, but I already had it, so I exchanged it. But like, I feel like it's going to be really, really good. And I've actually just been listening to Radio 4 and they've been talking about another book by this author. And that's The Starless Sea by Erin Morganson. Now, she wrote The Night Circus, which is a book I've read a couple of times and very much enjoyed. And I really enjoyed listening to the people talking about it this afternoon on Radio 4. It was great. But this follows, oh god, look at those end papers as well, it's like a library. So this follows Zachary Rawlins, who stumbles across a strange book hidden in his university library. It leads him on a quest unlike any other. Its pages entrance him with their tales of lovelorn prisoners, lost cities and nameless acolytes, but they also contain something impossible, a recollection from his own childhood. I just feel like this is going to be super, super good. I enjoy her sort of like mythical writing, and like it's very creative, and I just feel really excited about this. And this book looks amazing, doesn't it? So yeah. So those are the books that I'm planning on reading in the month of January. So for the rest of January, because as I said, we've only got, there'll probably be like 20 days of it left by the time you watch this. Hoping to get to as many of these as possible. Let me know what you're planning on reading in January. Let me know if you've read any of these books here. And I will see you all again soon for another booktube video. Goodbye!